Before we begin this chilling true crime story of forbidden love, dark secrets, and a murder that rocked an entire parish, take a moment to subscribe. These stories dive deep into the shadows of human behavior, where truth is often stranger than fiction. If you're drawn to stories of mystery, betrayal, and crimes hidden behind holy doors, hit that button and join us every week. Now, let's begin. When Father Thomas Grayson opened the doors of San Elias Church each morning, he was seen as a pillar of compassion. To the homeless, he was a lifeline. To his congregation, he was a man of God. But no one could have imagined the deadly secret hiding beneath his cassock, a forbidden relationship with a homeless man named Lucas, whose own past was littered with pain and desperation. Their affair was quiet, hidden in whispers and midnight meetings, until one of them snapped and someone ended up drenched in blood, face down in the sanctuary. Father Thomas Grayson had served St. Elias Church in Portland, Oregon for over 15 years. Respected, loved, and admired, he was known not just for his sermons, but for his unwavering devotion to the downtrodden. He ran food drives, clothed the homeless, and opened the church doors at night for anyone needing shelter. It was during one of those bitter winter evenings in 2022 that he first met Lucas Rivera. Lucas was 28, wiry and gaunt, with piercing eyes that looked like they had seen too much for someone his age. He drifted in from the East Coast, carrying nothing but a tattered duffel bag and an old notebook full of poetry and regrets. The streets had carved scars into his psyche, but he still spoke like a man who once dreamed of something greater. Father Grayson welcomed Lucas with warm soup and a bed in the church's back room. What began as simple charity slowly evolved into something else, something neither of them fully understood or could control. They kept it quiet, of course. Their relationship was born in the stolen moments, when the church emptied, when the lights dimmed, and when the world turned its back. Grayson, in his late 40s, had wrestled with his sexuality for years. The priesthood offered a structured escape from confronting it. But Lucas broke something open in him. With Lucas, he felt seen, not as a priest, not as a symbol, but as a man. Lucas, on the other hand, found in Grayson a rare kind of affection, steady, clean, and honest. Or so it seemed. As weeks turned into months, rumors began swirling. Church members whispered about Lucas's frequent presence, his access to church spaces, his late-night visits. Grayson dismissed the concerns, insisting he was simply helping a man in need. But when a parishioner caught Lucas emerging from the rectory shirtless one early morning, the whispers turned into accusations. The archdiocese sent a representative to observe. Grayson, fearing scandal and expulsion, panicked. He began pulling away, cutting off affection, restricting Lucas's access to the church, and retreating behind church protocol. Lucas spiraled. Homelessness had taught Lucas how to survive abandonment. But this time was different. This wasn't a friend leaving. It was someone he had loved, someone who had made promises. He began leaving voicemails, then written notes. "You used me," one read. Another said, "If I can't have your love, I'll expose your lies." And in one particularly haunting letter found later, "You hid me in the shadows, but I'll drag you into the light." On April 3rd, 2023, the church prepared for Holy Week. Palm Sunday was days away, and the sanctuary glowed with candlelight and lilies. No one noticed Lucas slip inside through an old maintenance door he knew well. He waited in the back room where he used to sleep, the place they once whispered sweet nothings and confessions. When Father Grayson entered hours later, preparing for evening prayers, Lucas confronted him. Witnesses later testified to hearing raised voices, glass breaking, and what sounded like crying. By the time church staff entered, they found Father Grayson lying in a pool of blood by the altar, stabbed 5 times in the chest, a broken crucifix clutched in his hand. Lucas stood motionless nearby, covered in blood, muttering, "I loved him. He left me." The trial began 3 months later and drew nationwide attention. Prosecutors painted Lucas as a jealous, unstable man who preyed on the priest's kindness and turned violent when rejected. But the defense told a more complex story of manipulation, abandonment, and emotional dependency fostered by someone in power. Lucas's attorney argued that Father Grayson had entered into an exploitative relationship with a vulnerable man, offering love in private but shame in public. The emotional whiplash, they said, pushed Lucas into a mental break. Psychologists were called. Journalists dug into both men's pasts. The church remained silent, attempting damage control while quietly distancing itself from Grayson's memory. In the end, the jury found L.